Hi, I'm Kofi. I'm London-based, rent to rent. I've got 10 rent to essays in London. I'm also a SSO, mentor. And in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about my biggest advice to get started in rent to rent. So the first thing I'd say is you need to be super clear, right? Super clear and have clarity on your goal. Now that goal might be to be financial free. It might be to have additional income towards your 9 to 5, or it might be to have a doorway into property. Whatever that is, you need to have absolute clarity on what that goal is before you get started. The next is your why. You need to dig deep into the why. It's very important along with the clarity because it gets hard along this journey. So the why will keep you going when it gets hard. It helps you to have momentum on those difficult days. And you need to think about what is the cost of not achieving that outcome for you. So focus on your why. For instance, my main why is to win back my time. I recognized in the job I was working in, which was a very well-paid job, took so much of my valuable time. So in order for me to be able to win that time back, I had to take action and start with property. So once you have clarity and your why, you then have to decide if rent to rent is the vehicle that you want to use in order to get to your end destination. There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's loads of different vehicles you can use to get to financial freedom or to get you away from your 9 to 5. So in order to progress, you have to make a decision that rent to rent is the vehicle that you're going to choose. So reverse engineer the process. What does the end destination look like? For some people, it might be a 10K goal. For others, it might be 20. Whatever that is, you have to be specific with it. I'd suggest writing it down. So if it's 10K, write down 10K and the date that you want to achieve that by. There's so much power in being specific with the goal that you want to achieve. So write it down, be specific, and then we reverse engineer that process. So now we have the financial amount that we want to achieve. We have to work out how much profit are we going to make a month? What's the return on investment per a deal? Or sensible questions to ask yourselves. And it's often when we're on pursuit of financial freedom or any kind of goal, we often ask how. And the next bit is probably one of the most important. It's the who, not the how. So often when we're in pursuit of anything, whether it's a goal or financial freedom or how we're going to make 20K a month, we often focus on how we're going to be able to do this. And it's a sensible question to ask yourself. But instead of focusing on how we're going to achieve it, we need to focus on the who, right? Who is it that's achieved what we want to achieve? Who is doing it currently? And how can we get in proximity with that person? Now, for me, that person was Simon. Simon was doing rent to rent and was very specific in it. And I recognized and was super clear in choosing rent to rent as the vehicle I wanted to use to create financial freedom and remove me from my 9 to 5. So I got in proximity with Simon to find out the blueprint. So if that's you and you're thinking about how, right, focus on the who's doing it and how you can get in proximity with them. Once you found out the who, the next is education and information. It goes without saying the difference between those who are successful and unsuccessful is an information advantage and a skill advantage. So find the who and get in proximity with that who and learn from their mistakes and their wealth of knowledge. Commit to personal development and bettering yourself through education. So there's so many benefits to education. From my own experience in committing to education with SSO, the return on investment has been 10x. In terms of what I had to invest to what I have now in terms of knowledge and skills, and that skills and knowledge that I can take into the marketplace has been invaluable. There's a lot of free information out there, but having the wealth of experience of someone who's been through what the journey that you want to go through is extremely powerful. Once you've started your education or mentorship, the next is commit to taking action. Now, I love talking about taking action because information or knowledge without application is useless. In order to progress and grow, you have to learn, of course, but you have to commit to taking daily action. Now, for yourselves, that might mean that you're going on to Rightmove or Zoopla on a daily basis just to look for deals. Or it might mean you're working on your elevator pitch to a landlord or an agent. But commit to taking daily action, because success loves speed. And when you do things on a daily basis, as opposed to doing spurts of just loads of effort, you have momentum, and that momentum will help you to continue going. So in addition to taking action, don't focus on the ultimate goal. It can be overwhelming, right? Break it down into small chunks, habits that you can do on a daily basis that's going to help you get to the end goal, but ultimately it's going to help you grow as an individual. Something that underpins all of this is your mindset. Mindset is so important, and your belief system. You can have all the information, you can have all the education and even accountability through a mentor, but if you don't have that belief and mindset, you're not going to be able to achieve. In order to get to your vision or goal, you have to first see it in your mind, right? So that might be 20K a month, or it might be to go on holiday 4 or 5 times a year. You have to first see it in your mind before it happens. So commit to building that mindset, reading and taking in information that's going to help frame your mind. So here's a tip that I use to help frame my mindset and belief system for a vision or goal. So at the start of the year, I write down in excruciating detail what my life is going to look like in the next year. Detail. So what restaurants am I going to go to? What holidays am I going to go to? What car I'm going to drive? You know, how much I'm going to spend. Write the goals down in excruciating detail. It's powerful. Another mindset hack I would recommend is writing a future letter to yourself of 12 achievements that you've done in that year. It's an extremely powerful tool. Try it and let me know how you get on. The next, last tip I'll give is get resourceful. You have to have an abundant mindset. There's capital in abundance and there's people in abundance. And those two things can help us to achieve our rent-to-rent goals. One of the biggest challenges I hear from people with getting started in rent-to-rent or achieving in most things is they don't have the capital to get started, or they don't have the time. Now you have to be resourceful. Where time is concerned, you can create time. You can leverage people in your network. You can build skills and knowledge, and in building those skills and knowledge, it helps you to have leverage. With capital, again, there's capital in abundance. There's people there who have money who'd be open to investing in you if you have some sort of information and skill set. You're probably asking the question, oh, how do I find capital? How do I get access to money? Is it really out there? The reality is, you have to become a person of value. If you have some sort of value, then you can leverage capital that's out there. But also recognize you have a massive network, and so often we're quite shy to tell people what we do. And if you tell as many people what you do, there are people who are going to be open to joint venturing with you, open to helping you, and open to pointing you in the right direction. Don't be scared to tell people what you need. Your network is your net worth. It's not a cliche, it's very true. In my experience, I've been able to leverage my network to raise capital in order to grow my business. So just to recap on the points above, the first thing is to get clarity and be super specific on what your goal is. To understand your why and why you're doing it so you can always tap into that when it gets hard. 2, reverse engineer the process to start with the end goal in mind and reverse engineer the whole thing. Focus on the who, not the how. Who is where I want to be and how can I get in proximity to them? Then you have to take education and mentorship and commit to taking action on a daily basis, breaking down habits and systems that you can put in place to reaching your goals. Then it's all about the mindset and belief system. And then lastly, abundant mindset, getting resourceful with your network and capital out there in the system. I hope that was helpful, guys. I'll catch you on the next video.